Hi, welcome to another Coach Mike at OB podcast. My name is OB, and this is Coach Mike. Coach Mike, this week in the NBA, we had the in-season tournament for the first time. Uh, Been an exciting week. We had James Harden trade.
Yep.
We had Victor Wembanyama actually looking like the next best thing since LeBron James.
Yep.
Um, and then you wanted to talk about the Raptors a little bit. So let's start with that James Harden trade. James Harden traded to the 76ers for.
Wait, what?
Sorry.
James Harden?
Sent to the Clippers
Yeah, thank you.
with PJ Tucker and Philippe Petrushev. And then the Clippers sent Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, and KJ Martin, and a 2028 unprotected first round pick and two second round picks and a pick swap to the 76ers.
Yeah.
What do you think of that trade?
Terrible.
Terrible?
Probably the worst trade in a really long time. They gave up so much for James Harden just to go on a team with, once again, three aging All-Stars. Now, all those guys got potential to be in the Hall of Fame. I totally see it. But, dude, they gave up everything. And then they have four All-Stars. There's not enough touches of the ball for them to be successful. Like, this is, for James Harden, if he comes to this team and he's successful, that's going to be good for him. But if he fails, it's make or break for him. He's done. Like, he is just a cancer. He's just terrible in the locker room. He's a selfish player. He's literally, he reminds me, OB, of a Carmelo Anthony. Cares about his stats, cares about this, cares about that. Doesn't care about winning and will never advance or get anything. I just don't see anything from it. They got gypped. They gave up PJ Tucker.
No, they got PJ Tucker.
Oh no, they got so they got him and they got PJ Tucker, and then they gave up a lot of good veterans. They gave up Nick Batum, which I guess they can give up. That's fine. Robert Covington, good two-way player, 3 in DDI. KJ Martin is a good young guy they shouldn't have got rid of. I thought they should have kept him, and then they got a bunch of picks for him. And if I can give this trade a grade, I'd give it a D+. Honestly, it was just not a good trade. Russell Westbrook and James Harden have shown that they can't work together without, besides when they were in OKC with Kevin Durant. And then you had Kawhi Leonard on there, and then you had Paul George. There's just not enough. There's not enough possessions in the game for them to be successful, honestly.
Well, here's the only thing about this trade that I see as a positive for the Clippers.
Okay.
Is the fact that Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, I think, only played the last, 4 seasons now, or 3 seasons that they've been together? 102 games.
That's
together.
Pathetic. Fucking Zion Williamson has played more.
Including playoffs.
Oh, Lord. That's not good.
So
They failed at
when
that
you're looking at getting James Harden, it's just another player to fill in that slot when Kawhi naturally takes his rest days, because he's always going to take at least probably 12 to 20 rest days a year.
Yeah.
Paul George has not been the most healthy player in the league in the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Having James Harden, who had a pretty decent year last year, I know he faded in the playoffs against the Celtics,
Which he always does.
but it's somebody else that can fill in that slot without it really changing the dynamic of the team. Now, when 4 of them are playing together, you're going to have to take Russ or James Harden out in the first 5 minutes to clear up space. You could start all 4 of them for the first 5 minutes, but you got to pull one of them early and then throw them back in the last 2 minutes of the game, or the last 2 minutes of the first quarter, and then let them run the second quarter.
Yeah. I agree.
76ers, I think, ran away with this trade. Hands down.
They got a lot of good bench. They got a good bench to complement Maxey and Embiid, kind of to keep him there, right? I feel like this trade was made to keep Embiid in Philadelphia, right? There's a lot of talks of him going to New York and a lot of other teams that want to give him, but I think that getting rid of James Harden and obeying what Joel Embiid wanted is keeping him here. Is doing that to keep him here. It's similar, in my opinion, to how when Cleveland tried to keep LeBron. They got rid of some guys and they brought in these young guys to show, hey, we're trying to build around you. We're trying to get pieces around you to help you stay and win. But I think with these pieces, the 76ers easily won this trade, I think. I mean, they got so many good bench veteran guys that they can utilize, you know?
Well, they definitely came on top in just the sense that they are looking like a much more cohesive unit than they did last year. Tyrese Maxey has taken that next step. You have D'Anthony Melton, right?
Yeah.
He's a very unselfish two guard.
Yeah, he's good. He's a
Point
good
guard
fit for that
slash
team.
two guard that is literally sliding in for James Harden. He will do all the right things. He looks like he's playing great defense. He's got that heart to stay with plays. I think just mentally, it is a weight off their chest or off their head, or like this whole summer of James Harden calling Daryl Morey a liar. And,
a lot of problems.
Daryl Morey still got him exactly where he wanted to go. He could have shipped him off to
Anywhere.
freaking Orlando to suck it, just sit and go to like Disney World. He could go to Disney World for the rest of his life and done nothing else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see the Clippers really getting a huge boost off of this.
No, they have no bench. They gave up their whole bench, LB. I mean, they're going to do. They have really nothing off the bench anymore. I mean, yeah, you got Norman Powell, arguably like good sixth man, and then you have Plumlee, right? Like, so those are like two good guys off the bench, but you know it takes a lot more than just two bench guys to really step it up and do it, you know. And I don't know. It's just a weird trade. I think they just gave up way too much for James Harden. Like, I just don't think they're going to win the chip. You know, they're putting it all in. It's like, I just don't see anybody beating the Nuggets, you know? But PJ Tucker's old.
So you gave up your young guy to get a non-superstar James Harden, a 38-year-old PJ Tucker, and I don't even know who this other guy is.
No, never heard of him. I think they already got rid of him for cash or something, from what I heard.
What was his name?
Oh, okay.
Philippe Petrusev?
Yeah, I think they traded him to the Kings for some cash already. You can check. Yeah, I think they traded him, right? Yeah, cash to the Kings. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so they traded cash. They got rid of him for the Kings.
It was just a salary dump.
Yeah, literally.
So, and as we saw the other night, PJ Tucker does not have it anymore.
No, hell no.
Not to be a difference
He's
maker.
He's just running around hitting corner threes once in a while. He's really not a productive player. He's kind of out there, really not doing much statistically.
Yep.
Right. So I don't know. It's a weird trade. I definitely think the 76ers got more depth, got more veteran experience, and good surrounding pieces to keep Joel Embiid there. I think that's good.
I think they'll be able to keep Joel there. I think
so too.
I think this will be the year, as long as they don't match up with the Celtics in the first two rounds.
Or the Bucks.
I think they can get past the Bucks.
Really?
I think so. I think the Bucks are wavering right now. They're having a real bad, rough start now after that first game.
Oh yeah.
But as long as they don't match up with the Celtics, this might be the first year Joel Embiid makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, I just hope. But here's the thing too. It's like, yeah, will he make it? Let's just have him play good in the playoffs first. I need him to play good in the playoffs first before I can solidify him and say, hey, okay, now you can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't see it, Opie. I don't see anybody beating Boston, and I don't see anybody beating the Bucks.
Well, that's why we play the games.
Exactly.
That's why we have the season.
Right.
I think that the Celtics are the team to beat right now. They look super cohesive.
Number one offensive efficiency in the whole league. I mean, they're phenomenal.
They're just firing at all cylinders. We'll see how well that goes towards the mid to late season. But right now, the Celtics are looking like the number one to beat in the East, and Milwaukee looks to be faltering.
Yeah.
Next on the list is our in-season tournament. Fun? Not fun?
No, I like the concept. I'm just a little confused, and I think a lot of guys in the NBA are confused as well. I forget who it was. It was the guy in the Clippers. Someone asked.
Bones.
It was Bones Highland, right?
Yeah.
They're like, he's like, really? I don't even know what's going on. And to be honest, Bones, I don't know either, because it's confusing. Because I thought, okay, they're having this in-season tournament. My perception of it was, okay, you're gonna have the tournament through the whole time, but the tournament is incorporated in the regular season.
Yes. And that was That was stated back in like June.
Yeah, well, I didn't fucking know about it, and I don't think Bones Highland knew about it either. But it just the concept. I like the concept. I think there should be a tournament, but my couple things. One, I think the tournament should have either been before or after All Star break, like, and just have the tournament in that span. I don't like that it's incorporated throughout the season. That's number one. Number two, the winner of this gets $500,000.
Yep.
Okay, for the lower teams, that's a great incentive. But I think personally, I think the winner of the in-season tournament should get an automatic bid to the playoffs. I think that they should do that because it gives more incentives for the teams that are not as good to play a lot better, in my opinion. Like 500
Would,
like 500.
would it be the best team from the East and the best team from the West?
No, it would just be whoever win the whole in-season tournament.
Because then you would throw off the whole play-in tournament. Because then you would only have one team that can make it in the play-in tournament on one side. Because then you would have automatically possibly 9 people. Because if the in-season tournament winner, like, because it's at the beginning, if all of a sudden, like, say the Clippers win it because they have, 4 perennial all-stars right now on their team, but then all of a sudden due to injuries and stuff, all of a sudden they drop down to 14th. Now you're looking at a 14th seed that's taking up a playoff spot. And then what are you going to do about the play-in tournament?
Yeah. Well,
So if you did both sides, the final 2, one from East, one from the West, automatically takes, say, if they don't make it to the, like, if they don't make it into the playoffs in general, say that does happen, like, where it's like, oh, they had a really good in-season tournament in the beginning of the year, but then they fell off at the end. The best team from there can automatically just take that 10th seed spot
yeah.
and bump them out. But that's complicated, and that it really is a detriment to the teams that fought hard at the end of the year to make it to the 10th spot to try to fight in for the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess that's true. With that being said, then I think there just needs to be another incentive besides cash for this. I don't know. These players get millions and millions of dollars, Obrakta. If they lose a game, it's not the end of the world. Okay, there needs to be another incentive for the teams that are not as good to, like, fight, because you could look at the pools, you're like, all right, this team is dominant, they're going to win.
And this is why I feel like it should have been more, like you said, around All-Star break, because then it gives the star players a certain incentive to at least try to play harder during, like, the, like, tough, like, slog of the, like, mid season,
Yeah.
because that's when you start getting a lot more players taking rest days. But if you have that, like, minor incentive around that time and you make the games worth more for your actual season, so say, like, if you did almost like, hey, you won 80, like, out of your 82 games, you won 54. You were tied with another team, but since you did better during the in-season tournament with that record, you automatically get bumped up. Like, so say if you have 2 teams tied 54 games for the 8th seed, whoever won the did better during the in-season tournament gets bumped up to the 7th seed instead of, or gets bumped up, takes the 8th seed, and the other person gets dropped down to the 9th seed. I think something like that, where it doesn't really affect, like, actual seeding, but if you are really close with somebody else, say like the Lakers and the Warriors are tied, and they're both fighting for that 10th spot, then that in-season tournament is going to make a big difference for LeBron James and Anthony Davis to keep playing versus, like, Steph and Clay, who consistently do not take rest days.
Right.
But, like, it's going to change the dynamic of how certain teams play in the mid-season versus, like, all right, now we're getting to a point where most players start to get hurt, and we're going to have to, like, start resting and making sure we're not going full potential all the time now. So I think something like that would be good.
Yeah, I agree. I think there just needs to be another focus point or another incentive besides the cash. But I like the concept. I think it's cool. Overall it's really cool. It's very similar to like college and high school. I think that like putting a tournament in the season and not just the only tournament being the playoffs. I think that's a cool concept. I think it's a cool thing. So let's.
Can I tell you? Could I tell you what I really hate about the in-season tournament?
What do you hate about it?
The courts.
Really, I like the courts.
Hate.
I like the courts.
Oh my god.
What do you not like about them? They just look too collegey.
I took one look at the Bulls court, and I wanted to throw up.
Dude, I don't know about you. I loved it. I love the courts.
I hated. I liked Milwaukee's court. I liked the green with the cream color and the blue Wisconsin State. The Heat one I thought was really good contrast with the red on the outside with the silver streak.
I thought the Thunder one was cool too.
Thunder, the blue and the black
cool,
was good. But the Bulls, the red with the dark red.
I loved it. I don't know. It matched their new. No. You want to talk about that? Talk about these damn City Edition jerseys. If anything, if you want to talk about ugly, there have been a ton of them. Not to switch topic or anything, but there's a lot of them that are ugly. But I liked it personally. I think the court signifies it, and personally, I like it. But I mean, if you don't like it, it is what it is. But yeah, there's these City Edition jerseys every year. I feel like. They try to just redo it, and it's not very good. I see like maybe 5 of these on here that
like
really
Chicago
are awesome.
Jersey, I just hated the court, and I really did not like the who was it? Was Denver? Denver's court wasn't that good. I hated I didn't like Indy's court.
Oh yeah, the color with their City Edition. I don't like them personally. I think out of all the City Edition jerseys, I hate to say it, I think the Bulls got the best one. It is sharp.
Bulls got the best one.
And I would say the second best is the Jazz. It's kind of got that old school style.
Jazz looks good. I like Phoenix's. It's kind of like their last year's one, but it's just a little bit more. Has that like slight change gradient into the colors.
Yeah.
Instead of being like super quick into it, it's more gentle from the purpley blue to the orange.
Yeah, the ugliest ones on these, in my opinion, the Nets. That's terrible. The Nets one is bad. The Lakers one is bad. Orlando's, I don't think it's bad, but it's just so typical of what they're totally used to. The Kings one, I like the style integration. It's just not. It's not very good. Toronto's is kind of cool, and OKC's kind of cool, but all the other ones are kind of just like
San Francisco's kind of
decent. That's terrible.
The
You're right.
Like the hilly.
Oh, so bad. They try to reinvent the wheel, OB, and it's like just. I hate to say it, Chicago, like in downtown, like the Chicago thing, it's got the exact that looks great. I'd get that City Edition jersey.
I would too.
I think it's sharp.
I think it's actually better than the Chicago Flag City Edition jersey.
Whoa! I love that one.
I do too, but
it's really good.
But this one is
clean.
Better than it's sleek. It's sleek and it's clean.
Okay.
And I like the red trim on it.
Yeah,
because like the City Edition jersey with the Chicago flag, it like really felt like Chicago.
Yeah,
but the Bulls don't have blue in their coloring.
No, they really don't.
So,
but they're trying to spice it up like these other jerseys.
But the black and red, I think, is simplistic enough where it pops, but it doesn't take away from it being the Bulls.
Yeah, and I said the Nets one was really bad, OB. Now that I'm looking,
all over the place.
The Nets one is terrible, but I think the worst one out of all of these is the Grizzlies one. I mean, it looks like hieroglyphics. I mean, what is that, dude? It's terrible. That is by far the worst City Edition jersey ever. It's just, look at it. It's like, it's nothing. Atlanta's is terrible. These are really, Obrakta, if I would grade these City Edition jerseys compared to last year, this would get a D-. It's terrible. Look at these things. The Chicago one is blowing them all out of the water. And I'm not saying that I'm biased because I'm from Chicago. I
like Detroit's too.
Detroit? Nice. Where are they? Which one?
Right
here. Yeah, that's okay.
Clean. It's got the cursive writing on it.
Yeah. Well.
Kind of gives you that classic style. Clips is okay, but
well, we'll see what happens with the City Edition jerseys, and we'll see what happens with the in-season tournament as it progresses. But
Bulls are going 0-5.
Yeah, they're done for.
Or 0-4, sorry.
You lose to Brooklyn like that, I mean, it's gonna be bad. But anyways, what's next on the list?
That's
Victor,
Victor Wembanyama. The
finally.
next best coming since LeBron James.
James.
For the probably 15th season in a row.
Right.
What do you think about Vic?
You know what? I wasn't on board with the Wembanyama train. I wasn't. I was like, congrats, he's tall. I've seen a lot of guys like that, like a Bol Bol or like a Taco Falls. Like, sometimes you're just too tall. But this guy can do it all.
Now, did you watch any of his games when he was over in France?
I did, yeah. I did. I watched a handful of games when he was
a
in
handful of
France.
them?
The physicality of the NBA is obviously way more intense, but
Yep.
he's finding a way to like implement himself, and no better way. I mean, no team would have been a better fit for him than the Spurs. He is a perfect Spurs player, dude. He fits the role perfectly, dude.
He is literally, as I don't know if you saw Shaq's take on it, he is literally Bol Bol, except he is Bol Bol who actually played against competition
Yeah, you're right.
and learned how to deal with competition and learned how to deal with actually dribbling and shooting while being guarded by actual men as an 18-year-old verse where Bol Bol was, oh yeah, he's dominating all these other 18-year-olds as a 7'4",
In college or
290
whatever, yeah.
pound kid, or not 290, Bol Bol's light, but
220 maybe,
220, 230,
maybe.
which Victor's 210.
No, Victor's pretty big. Not big. I'm gonna take that back. He's pretty. He's gotta be like in the 230s. He's not that small, right?
210 pounds listed weight.
What?
Yeah.
Well, man,
He needs about 15 to 20 pounds.
And he'll get there.
He'll get there eventually, but that was my biggest thing for him. I think I was very much, he is going to be a game changer for this league. He is going to dominate, but it is going to come down to
Health.
Injuries.
Yep.
Is he going to be able to sustain his body weight while playing an 82-game season? And just how is he going to deal with the physicality? If you're playing as Victor Wembanyama and you're going against a Zubac, that's a hard thing to ask a 19-year-old, 210-pound guy to deal with. And I really do think that it's going to be about 2 or 3 years, and he may be the best player in basketball.
Really?
He may be.
I don't know about 2 or 3 years. I give it maybe like 5 or 7.
Do you see what this kid's doing already? And after 1 week, he had a tough first week, and the last 2 games that he's played has just been phenomenal. We'll see what the rest of the season looks like.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's early in the season. It's not a big sample size for what he can do, but he's got debatably the best coach in the NBA right now.
No, debatably, he is the best coach in NBA history, in my opinion. Sorry, Phil. Go on.
But right now, he is the best coach in the NBA. He went to the best team for fundamentals.
Best franchise, in my opinion, in the NBA is the San Antonio Spurs, next to the Bulls.
A team to keep him humble, to try, kind of in the middle of nowhere, small market, blocks out the noise. He's not going to hear all of the hype about him. He's not going to hear all the hate about him.
Yeah.
When things start to fall apart midway through the season, when he's having those growing pains, it's really going to be a test to the Spurs organization how he grows.
Yeah, I think.
And if he can be anything, like turning him, because first off, he's already going to be the best defensive player, like hands down.
The worst they were saying on the thing. The worst thing for him is he's going to be an elite shot blocker. That's the worst situation for Victor Wembanyama, which is not a bad situation to be in. He's just.
It's going to be so hard. Like, people are going to have to start, everyone's going to have to start taking Steph-type shots just to shoot over him.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way he's 2 steps behind the three-point arc, and he's going to be able to block your shot.
Right. There was
easily.
a stat.
He's so quick, and he is so nimble, and he has great court vision. His passes are phenomenal for
Yeah.
for an 18, 19-year-old. So I do think as long as he stays healthy, he will be running this league with like Jokic and everybody else in 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
As long as he stays healthy, because very rarely do big men of his stature sustain long. I was out only 8 years in the league.
Yeah, he wasn't very long. I mean, he grew really quickly, and his knees were killing
Dwight
him.
Howard, after 8 years, he went downhill real quick.
Yeah. Well, he didn't progress his game
Nope.
now to the modern day basketball, in my opinion. So
But once he went to the Lakers, he had to have that back surgery, and then it just went all downhill from there.
Yeah.
So it all depends on his health. The only thing we can hope for is that he makes it past 8 years in the league and he gets the strength training that he needs to be able to sustain a whole year.
well, imagine if he got just as big and strong as Giannis. That would be insane. I don't know if it's even possible for someone of his height to even put on that type of muscle.
muscle?
I mean, Giannis is like what, 7 foot, 7'1", so he kind of did it. But Giannis might be 6'10". I mean, who knows? I mean, the height stats are always inflated with anything. They give an inch with shoes or whatever. But when you look at Victor Wembanyama, and you look at all these guys in this in the draft, and you look at guys that are whatever. You look at the guys like the Victor Wembanyama's, you look at the Chet Holmgrens, Amar and Amir Thompson. Like, that is the evolution of basketball now, dude, because you're looking at guys that are 6'6", 6'7" point guards like the Thompson twins who
Yep.
can do just about relatively anything. And then you got the guys like the Victor Wembanyama's and the Chet Holmgrens who are easily over 7 foot that could still do a little bit of everything. It's incredible to see like Victor Wembanyama scoring, shooting, doing everything a guard can do. And having that. Same with Chet. So it's like, it's the evolution of the game, man. It's just happening in front of our eyes. And guys like Anthony Davis and the LeBrons and the Hardens and the Westbrooks, like, they're not going to be able to sustain and compete. They're just not, in my opinion. They're not for much longer. For much longer.
I mean, well, it's a miracle LeBron's even competing as it is right now.
He's still
in
a
year
monster.
21, right?
Yep, he's a monster, man. That guy is incredible. He is.
Love
gonna
him or
probably
hate,
go-
love him or hate, you gotta respect how
Respect the game.
how well he's taking care of his body.
Yeah, he's got knock on wood, he's never had a very, very serious injury to deteriorate him, which is great. He's got.
Just that quad injury his first year, right?
Yeah, and I
At
think he
the
had a
Lakers?
slight meniscus like bullshit a while ago. Maybe that was Westbrook. But
Westbrook.
LeBron is just, he's in good, he's got good health, and he spends a lot of money on his, strength, conditioning, like everything. So I praise LeBron. I like LeBron. I don't think he's better than Jordan, but that's another conversation for another time.
That is another conversation for another time. Then,
We're going to talk about the Toronto Raptors.
oh yeah, you want to talk about the Toronto Raptors? What do you got to say about the Toronto
I
Raptors?
am loving what's going on with the Toronto Raptors. Okay, couple things. Dennis Schroeder. Did he miss 2 assists in my parlay today and piss me off for almost winning $90? Yes, he did, people. But guess what? He is playing great. Honestly, after winning the FIBA with Germany, he elevated his game as a point guard, and I think he's a perfect fit for that team. A couple concerning things, though, okay? You got Siakam, who I think has been there way too long, and people are saying that he's not motivated and he doesn't want to play there and yada, 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 but he's still putting up really, really good, consistent numbers. I really like what he's doing. But the most impressive guy in that entire roster, in my opinion, is Rookie of the Year, Scotty Barnes. Dude, he is playing at an elite level, and mark my words, he has my vote early for most improved player. I think he's just playing at an incredibly high level. I think he's going to be the franchise face for that team if he's not already am, because I feel like Siakam's kind of have his way out, and a lot of guys there with their contracts, it's really weird to test like where they are, right? They're not like us, and they're not a veteran team, but they're not a rookie team, but they're not a contending team, but they're not a shade team, right?
Overall, I feel like they're a very young team still.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, in my opinion,
Besides
they're in the middle.
Siakam, I feel like they're, and Schroeder, I think they're so very
Pottle's
young.
not that old, not that young either.
No,
But
but
whatever.
I mean, you got Gary Trent Jr.,
He's a great bench guy.
Otto
He's
Porter Jr., Chris Boucher,
Boucher.
Boucher.
But he's good, though. That he's young, he don't play. No, he's doing
Jacob
really
Portal.
good. But OG Anunoby's playing really well too. I think that starting lineup that they have, OB, is great. They need a better supporting cast bench. They really do. But overall, I like what the Toronto Raptors are doing right now. And I don't like the Toronto Raptors that often. But they really caught my eye these first couple weeks, dude, with the way that Siakam, Poddle, and Scotty Barnes are playing. Honestly, I think they're playing at a really high level. And I really like the direction that they're going with this team. Besides getting their butt whooped in overtime by our Bulls, they've had a pretty sustainable 2 weeks, in my opinion.
I really thought they were going to win against the Bulls too.
I did too. I mean, when DeMar missed those free throws, I was like, oh, geez, what's going
So
on?
you saw your lineup of Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Portal, OJ Anunoby, and Dennis Schroeder. It's a great starting lineup. And honestly, Pascal needs to go.
Yeah, he's been there too long. I think he needs to be with more of a veteran team. And like I said, people were saying, oh, he's not motivated. He only has this much left on his con. He's gonna play. Like the way I've been watching him play, he's doing fine. But
You know what
he needs to
team
be
he would be really good for?
the Chicago Bulls.
No, the Clippers.
Clippers,
Yeah.
dude, they don't need anybody else. They don't need any more All Stars on that team. The Clippers. No, like seriously, think about it. If you could pick the top 3 teams where Pascal Siakam would be a great fit, what would they be? I'm gonna think of 3 teams. You're gonna think of 3 teams, or we'll go 1-on-1. We'll go back and forth. If I'm looking at the entire league and I'm looking at which one of these NBA teams needs a stretch 4 that can defend, who's lanky, who's consistent.
New
What-
Orleans.
No, they have Zion Williamson. They don't need him.
He's not really a stretch though.
Well, he's
He's a bulldozer. He can shoot the 3, but
Yeah.
he's not a stretch.
well, his pants stretch probably 'cause he's so fat. But, no, if I'm looking at it, dude, and if I'm looking like the Eastern Conference, right? Like you go down the list. I mean, a team that I really, really think needs that type of player is like the Pacers, dude. I really think the Pacers would be a great fit for him.
Pacers.
Yes. I mean, they just got Obi Toppin. Don't get me wrong. I think Obi Toppin is going to take the next step, but I don't think he's a starting power forward in that league. You insert him with Tyrese Halliburton, and you insert him with what's his face, Turner. I mean, they're going to be. I think they're going to be pretty decent. Maybe the Hawks. He'd be a great fit with the Hawks too, because they just got rid of John Collins, right? John Collins is with the Jazz now, so I think he'd be a great fit there too. And then maybe New Orleans would be a good fit for him. Maybe.
In the West.
Yeah. What do you think in the West? Not the Timberwolves, not OKC. Maybe Portland's.
No,
Portland's and Jazz is good.
because they got Jeremy Grant, and they got Scoot, and they got all those guys over there right now.
Maybe the Kings.
Kings? No.
Grizzlies. God, they need help.
Yeah, I thought.
Grizzlies are what, 0-6 to start the year.
I've got them going 0-7 tonight.
You bad man.
Um,
I'm looking at everybody in the West right now. I would say.
I would say, in all honesty, the Lakers could probably use them
Lakers, yeah.
instead of Rui Hachimura. They
like
could use Siakam.
Yeah, a lot of teams can utilize this guy, is what I'm saying. I think looking at the chart right here, I think the Eastern Conference definitely.
I think Golden State could use them instead of Moses Moody. They need somebody that could do things over there besides Draymond.
Yeah, the Wizards or maybe the Heat.
He could use them.
He could use him because they're already shifting Bam to that 5 spot. Who's in that 4 spot for them? For the Heat, honestly. I mean, you got Kyle Lowry, who they just said is going to be a starter. They have Tyler Hero. They have Jimmy Butler.
So that's your 1, 2, 3.
Bam is your 4 or 5, and then who do they have starting now? They run a small roster, dude. They run a small roster. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Tyler Hero. So they have Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and then Siakam in there, and that'd be a good fit. But that might be what they need to take him to that next level, because I think Tyler Hero is really playing as that scorer that they were looking for. Like they're like, oh, we want to get Dame Lillard, right? For scoring purposes and to give the ball to that guy. I think Tyler Hero is slowly progressing into that player, in my opinion. So.
You know, all these teams have a different They have Kevin Love in there.
Yeah, Kevin Love is just an aging guy that is kind of a glue piece veteran for a lot of teams. But yeah, no, we'll see what happens with Pascal. Do you think he's going to get traded by the deadline?
No.
You think he's going to stay? I think he's going to. I'll take that bet with you. I think he's going to get traded. And I think Zach LaVine's going to get traded at the deadline too.
He better get traded.
God, I hope so. Trade the whole team. Start over. So.
Get what you can for DeMar, because his stock value has never been higher.
Yeah, right. Same with Vooch. Re-signing these idiots. Re-signing these aging all-stars that aren't going to take us to the next level is just blasphemy to me. But I'm not the manager.
And then instead of doing Portal, you wanted to do a reaction. So we're going to watch and react to the top 10 plays of November 4th.
Let's get it.
No sound because we're cool and not copyrighted. There we go.
All right, top 10
Top
plays.
10. Number 10.
Let's see.
We got Suggs
Ooh!
between the legs.
He eight-balled him. Oh. Joe Ingles, finally he's been hitting a shot. God, he really got screwed leaving.
Yeah, he is. I saw him jogging up the court during that game, and I'm like, God, Joe Ingles, you got so old so fast.
Yeah. Horton Tucker. Ooh. Damn. Look at that.
Him going to the Jazz was a really good move for them.
Yeah, inserting him into the starting lineup and taking out Colin Sexton and putting Jordan Clarkson at their point is great.
Oh, nice behind the back pass.
Is that Asir Thompson or the Thompson guy? Yeah. Oh, no, that's Green. Green passes? Oh, wow. I did not know. That's great. That's a great behind the back pass. It's beautiful. Let's see what we got. Ooh. Got him with the shimmy. You saw that? Like, woo. Yeah. Where you going, Eubanks? Joel Embiid.
Embiid at least
Great
got up
move.
off the floor.
C. Lamelo, he's been struggling this year. Good pass. Ooh. Is that PJ Washington?
Yep.
You know, I really think he's going to take the next step for that team, too. Should have been an and one, I think.
Should have been.
Let's see this. Those ugly jerseys again. Ooh, nice pocket pass. Ooh. Wow. That's beautiful. Who dunked it? Who was that? Is that Claxton? No. Claxton's injured right now. Oh, good block.
Dennis Smith Jr.?
Dennis Smith Jr. No, not Dennis Smith Jr. Jabari Smith Jr.
Jabari Smith.
Yeah. Wow. Challenging old man McGee at the rim. Well, he's going to be back on Shaqtin' a Fool again, huh?
Guess so.
There you go. We got this. Oh, wow.
Oh, he had reached so far back for that.
Oh, wow. Like we were just talking about Obi. Athletic as hell.
Not the greatest pass.
No, but
awesome
great.
finish.
All right, let's see what we're working with here. Oh, there we go. Didn't even have to.
Just one step.
This big boy didn't even. Yeah, just.
Did he do that like last year or 2 years ago when everyone got really mad at him?
Yeah. Well, no, he stole the ball and crunch time and did it. This was just like that. All right, number one. Let's see what this is here. Ooh, nice steal in the passing lane. All right, what are we going to do here?
Same thing as Zion, except more airtime.
Yep. You know, I really love Anthony Edwards, man. I think he's going to take that next leap as a player and be a perennial all-star. But look at him getting his hand in the passing lane. And here's another thing. I think that him playing on Team USA and being that main guy and having that defensive mindset that the coaches put has made him such a great player. So that was a great top 10. I'm excited for more top 10s coming in. But he kind of had a little bit of everything. Had some passing, had some dunks, had some defense. That's what he wanted as a top 10 to be.
That's what you want. All right. So, everybody, that'll be it for this week's Coach Mike and OB podcast. Follow us on all the accounts at Twitter or now X, Facebook, Instagram. We'll get everything going. TikTok. Anything you guys say before we head on out?
No, I think this was a great podcast. Thank you guys for the love and support and the subscribers. And we're going to keep doing this on a consistency every week. And we appreciate, all your input and, go Bulls. Yeah, right.
See you next week.
See ya.